KJ. KJ is from the comic book in the show called Paper Girl. She is a paper girl from 1988. When her and her friends have traveled to the future in 2019, her world gets rocked upside down. When she is in the future, she refuses to look up her older self because she fears that she's going to become the person her parents always wanted her to be, and she doesn't want that. When they retravel again to the year 1999, the girls are looking for like a place to stay. They think they can go to KJ's place because her family normally goes on vacation on the 4th of July, but what KJ doesn't know is that since she's from the year 1988 and this is the year 1999, her family has now changed plans. They now host like neighborhood parties and stuff. So the other girls go there to eat and gather supplies, but reluctant KJ, she decides to go in the house. And it's there she tries to keep out of sight so her older self doesn't see her younger self and freak out. KJ is probably my favorite character in the entire show when it comes to the 4 girls. Mac is definitely not going to be. This version of Erin is a little rude to her older self. Plus, her older self isn't like she's an okay person, but she's too jittery and doesn't have no self-confidence. Tiffany, I like Tiffany. She's smart, but when she gets older, she just turns ditzy in the head and like a free spirit hippie type person. But KJ, I like a lot. And I like both the younger version and the older version, even though we don't see the older version all that much. Now, for the younger version, when she decides to go to her old room, a woman is in there. This turns out to be a college friend of the older AJ, so younger KJ pretends to be the cousin. And they talk, and they find out that KJ never went to the college her family wanted her to go. She instead went to this other college and took up film school. She loves movies and stuff like that, and her friends, they make, I guess, like fan short films or something like that, and they write stuff. So she's very shocked and pleased that her life went in a different direction. Now, younger KJ plays hockey. Now she is a very tough person, and she's very sweet and very kind. Her family is very rich. Now, when they was in the year 2019, when one of the bad guys was shooting laser guns at them, she took her hockey stick and beat him to death in the show, and he died. I was shocked. She was shocked. And so like, but in the books, it's a little bit different. She killed somebody too, but in a different like time era. Anyway, back into 1999, she decides to go to the restroom, but she sees her older self. So she wants to spy on her older self. When she spied on her older self before, she saw that there was this guy hitting on her and everything, but she didn't look all that happy. When she's spying on her older self this time and she's looking into the restroom, when she's spying on her older self this time and she's looking through her bedroom, she sees that her older self is a lesbian and is kissing on that woman that she was talking to. It's more than just her college friend, it's her girlfriend. KJ is beyond shocked, and she is disgusted when she sees this. And she literally falls to like the bathroom floor. Like she just hates this idea. But then she looks at herself with disgust in the mirror. And then her look of disgust turns into that of a blank look. And then a look of acceptance. See, the thing is, she's always had these feelings, but she wasn't really sure what they were. And since this was 1988, as you can tell, LGBT stuff wasn't very friendly back then. And so she has finally now come to reality with who she really is. She is indeed a lesbian. But she really wasn't 100% sure. And she has decided if her older self can be okay with this, then her younger self can be okay with this too. But she still has questions and everything. She's still confused by all this like stuff that's going on in her life. So later on, she talks to that of her older self's girlfriend when they're at the movies and stuff. And she asks her, but she's scared. She wants to ask her, how do you know when you was ready? How do you know you're ready to come out? How, like, you know, all this other stuff, like the million questions like many people who are younger and trying to come out like have, you know what I'm saying? But she's coy with her questions because she's still too afraid to come out and say them because she's afraid she might scare the girlfriend away. But the girlfriend picks up on this, and she's very kind to younger AJ, telling her, it happens at different times. When a person's ready, they're ready. You know what I'm saying? And, 'cause different people come out like at different times, and some people never come out and everything. And this helps her quell whatever fears that she might have. Now, she has a crush on one of her friends named Mac. Mac is the mean tomboy who is a frenemy of hers. Mac doesn't really like KJ that much because she's rich, but she's still friends with her nevertheless. And so I could tell there was something going on between those two because you can just like tell, you know what I'm saying? And so like she wants to start coming out to Mac in the show, but crazy time travel stuff is going on and people are trying to kill him. You gotta watch Paper Girls. It's on Amazon Prime. It just came out this year. It's really good. And so like she just looks at it and she's kind of moving towards Mac a little bit, but Mac is kind of like, what the world are you doing? And so she gets scared and frightened off because she wants to kiss her. She wants to let her know, hey, I like you, but she is too afraid because you got to remember, this is 1988 and Mac isn't necessarily the nicest person. Now in the comic, it's a little bit differently of how she finds out she comes out, but she does tell Mac in the comic, and Mac turns completely homophobic towards her. Mac is a little bit racist on the show. Like I said, Mac is really, really, really mean and stuff. And so in the comic, she's completely homophobic to her and want nothing to do with her, but they still have a mission because they're still time travelers and stuff. They never asked to be time travelers. It just happened, when they were teenagers doing a paper route. But then at some point in time in the comic, Mac decides to come around. And I don't know if this happens before or after their minds get erased, but they do share like a kiss and everything. And so, because see, when you look at Mac, you assume she's like a lesbian, but she's like a huge tomboy. Whether she is or not, that we don't really know yet. And I never read the comics, so I don't really know. But I've read the premise of the comic and stuff. Now, the show ends in the first season before she can tell Mac. And those two get trapped in a time travel pod. And so now they're finna go on a different adventure away from the other two girls. This leads off on a cliffhanger. The show, I don't know if it got renewed or not. I read one site said it did and one site said it didn't. So only time will tell. But I do really like this character of KJ. She's one of the better characters on the show. She is going through like a life discovery and everything beyond that of time travel. You know what I'm saying? Because like the other girls, they found out what happened to them in the future. And they all hate it. One girl dies at the age of 16, so she has no future from brain cancer. The other one didn't become president of the United States, and she's unconfident, or she has no confidence, and she's unsure of herself. And the other one, who's super smart and wanted her to go to like this big like MIT school, turned out to be a hippie. But then she later goes and helps create time travel in the show, not the comic book, because it's completely different the comic, and like create like an institute and everything. She's kind of responsible a little bit for this whole space-time war thing. Between these two fractions and everything. That's in the show, not in the comic. In the comic is different. In the comic, Tiffany just plays video games and married a goth guy, and that really pisses off young Tiffany and stuff. But I don't. And then as for older KJ in the comic, don't know what happens to her, but she gets cloned. It's different in the comic. This is a sci-fi comic book show. All right, it's out there. There are dinosaurs and giant robots. It's out there, but it's good. Trust me. It's not your typical superhero type like comic. It's a show of growth and discovery and emotion and learning one about yourself and everything. Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.